That's like not sleeping with your girlfriend so she's ready for the next guy. What people don't understand about the RWB experience is that that's what it is. It's the experience. It's the build process as much as it is the car. And that car sitting there, wider than a 512 TR, demands your attention. You can't help but to look at it. People break their necks. You put gas in the car, you're at a gas station for 30 or 40 minutes. You're not leaving because the kid wants to come up and wants his mom to take a picture. The old guy who had a 911 is like, what in the world? This is beautiful. This is amazing. The cars don't rub. They drive amazing. They're not darty. They're not bad handling. They don't have gigantic wheel spacers. Everything is spec'd correctly for what he's doing. He's been racing a long time. That's why it says second generation on the lip. He didn't just get lucky. He's worked his ass off. He's a tradesman. So he's got roughed up hands and he's rough around the edges. And it's like, cool, I can do this too, and I don't have to have my shirt tucked in and clean cut. I look up to Nakai and what I see in the builds because it's his, not a corporation's. You know, I'm by no means a gateway, but we've been a part of more of them than what I believe, from what I understand, any other shop so far in the U.S. has been a part of. The way that it's worked with the ones that we've been a part of is I've gotten whoever in contact with Christian or the LA guys or whoever needs to be in contact with. Christian's seems to be his right-hand man. It just helps manage and keeps things going and keeps things flowing and keeps things organized during the builds. Doesn't let people get out of hand or in his way. I mean, he's big about, you know, step back, let him have his, because people get excited. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of the builds, to be there, to see Nakai doing it. Everybody's like, you know, once he starts cutting the fenders, everybody's like, he's cutting, you know, and it's, Christian's good about let him do his thing. One of the most peaceful guys you'll ever meet. Just solemn. I mean, an outstanding guy. They start sorting out suspension, wheels, and which kit, because whether you get from a G-body to a 964 to a 993, whichever you pick, there's different options. You have winglet options, you have different bumper options, there's different suspension options, there's different wheel options. Some guys run them raw with nothing in it. All the ones we've done, we've put interior into the RS carpet kits. We do the roll cages in them, we do the exhaust in them. We'll do any light maintenance work. You're very, very much involved. They have a phone-based app where once you do the buy-in or the deposit, Christian will get you in on the app and you can talk to all the other owners. So you have a family communication as well, where you're able to talk back and forth and kind of bounce ideas back and forth. From what I understand right now, Nakai's about a year and a half out on a build. He's doing about, I'm gonna say 40 to 50 a year. Seems to be almost every weekend he's getting a build going. He comes in on a Wednesday or Thursday, and then he does it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He knows exactly where he's gonna put what and what he's gonna do. To get in, Christian will tell you 30 grand. It's 30 grand. What all that entails is going to depend on what you choose. It's not gonna include wheels. It's not gonna include the suspension. It's not gonna include paint work. Some cars get completely repainted, some cars don't. That's up to the owner at that point. But to get in, to pay your deposit, to get into the family and to get things going, to get you on the list, it's gonna be 30 grand. The ones that we've painted, it's between 18 and 24,000 to do a complete color change on those, also with the kit, but we're also doing full interior, that's cages, exhaust work as well, so you could be even pushing 25, 26,000 in there. You're gonna be sitting right around 130. We're on our 6th RWB right now. It's one of the RWB New York cars. It's a 993, that I've made into a Speedster using all 964 parts. So since Porsche never really made a true 993 Speedster, I literally took all the parts off a 964 Speedster, from the windshield to the cowl to the brace, everything, and I put it into the 993. I started out doing the RWB stuff with Lee. He had Naginata built for his dad, and the color was a little bit off. Nothing bad, nothing major, but he's like, I want it fresh, I want it right and tight, and I was like, all right, well, let's do it for sure, absolutely. This was 3-4 years ago. I wasn't real sure. I thought the RW thing was kind of like a stance thing. I wasn't really following what it was. And then obviously when I get the car, I'm following along with these other documentaries that are coming out with Nakai. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Well, from what I know right now, no one else has repainted an RWB completely after Nakai did it. So the big question was, how are you going to redo these seams? And I'm like, I'm going to do them the same way he did them. Well, what do you mean? Well, if you look at the seams on the RWB, where your arches meet down into like the doors or on the rear quarters, you can actually see Nakai's finger marks where he's pulling through. After he tapes them off, you can still see his finger marks. So I took pictures of where all the finger marks were on Naginata, and I recreated where all the lines meet after I taped it off and made sure the finger marks were as best I could get them to where it looked like they were there again. It was that summer for the Claremont build, and Lee hit me up and he goes, hey man, I can't go to the build that weekend. Can you take Naginata for me? And I was like, say what? He goes, yeah. He goes, make sure you got Nakai's seal of approval after redoing everything. Because apparently he had been talking back and forth a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay. That was a little nerve-wracking at first. And Nakai was over there working on Claremont, doing his thing. And he heard that Naginata was there, and he was like, he wanted to go see it. So I was like, oh man, here we go. Here's the moment. And so he goes out and he starts walking around it. It was just me and him walking around the car, and he's looking at everything. I'm still like, all right, I'm the only one who's done this so far, so I really hope I didn't screw this up. And he looks it over and he goes, perfect. And I was like, okay, great. Like, is this really going on right now? What's really cool with Naginata is now Auto Art has that model car. I bought 2 of them, one for my oldest son, one for me, one stays in my office. It's Nakai's vision, it's his company, it's his passion. No one's forced into doing these cars. And a lot of people are like, well, you're tearing it up, you're ruining it. We have brought several cars back from the brink of death that would have gotten crushed or given up on or just sat. If a car is just put away and just stored away and never driven, what's the point? You're keeping the prestige, you're keeping the car with how it should be. That's like not sleeping with your girlfriend so she's ready for the next guy. Forget that. If this is your car and this is what you want to do to your car and you love the look and the design, do it. Who cares what somebody who can't afford it says? I think Danny made a garage who has Catalina. He tracks his car. He's one of the few in the US I know that he'll take it to J-Zilla and he's tracking the car. You know, you've got this candy purple RWB with gold lettering on it, and he's out there like Road Atlanta tearing it up. Some people are like, well, if you can do it now in 2 days, am I paying less? And it's like, don't punish a man because he's good at what he does. See that, watch his passion, watch the build, and it's like, oh, I get it. This is really cool. That's the biggest thing that I've seen in the car community, are the guys who don't get the car, they haven't been to a build. Some of them are open invitation, some of them are invitation only. That's up to the owner. But if you can ever be a part of one and go, it's the community. You have Nakai building a car, and you have 20 to 100 people. Everybody's having a good time, socializing, drinking, and just watching.